It was me. It was me, and it was this fragrance. Wow, I even complimented her on my own fragrance. I said, wow, this really melts so well on your skin. You smell. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm in a different location again. This is usually like my Instagram, TikTok kind of location, but I absolutely love it. I just think it's like more brighter. I get to stand up, so I feel like I'm actually speaking properly. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this video. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about complimentary, most complimented fragrances in my collection. A lot of you guys will know these fragrances already, to be honest, but I just thought it'd be interesting kind of telling you guys different stories of how I got complimented. One thing that I will say is that typically I tend to find fragrances that you wear very often, obviously, guys will get you more compliments, but also ones that perform fairly well, I tend to find get good compliments. So they clearly make a good impact on people when I am in the room or when I'm just like wafting around. So I hope you guys enjoy. I am thinking, I don't know whether to do this or not, but I would like to do another shopping type of video. I was thinking of going like Selfridges or Harrods or Harvey Nicks, all like these department stores that sell niche fragrances, more like luxury design fragrances. The only thing is, and this is coming from a Londoner myself, I'm a little bit scared of whipping out my camera or my phone whilst trying to film in London. So I'm thinking maybe of going to Manchester. If you guys have any suggestions of what type of place to film in where it's relatively safe, then please let me know. Anyway, we'll just jump straight into the video. So the first fragrance that I have is one that I've talked about a lot on this channel, and there is a very specific reason why. People seem to love this on my skin. I don't know whether there's like a specific note that melds well with my chemistry. At first, it was quite a unique fragrance, and it still is, but the more that I wear it, the more it just seems like it's part of me. And it's very rare that I ever say that about fragrances, but this one is called Cuir Grenat from Parfumeur. Parfumeur are under the same group as Penhaligon's by Rhoda, and they have really very unique fragrances. They have like banana, that banana-like fragrance. They have a lot of like rose, oriental-based fragrances. And honestly, I quite like how simplistic the fragrances can be. And honestly, I was just really pleasantly shocked when I first smelled this. So this is predominantly a raspberry leather type of fragrance. And I know for most people, they're like, what, raspberry and leather? But what's so beautiful is that raspberry note gives it some fruitiness, some feminine sweetness to the overall fragrance. But then the leather is like a suede type of leather. And the leather note really melds well with people's skin. On males, like a deeper, darker leather smells incredible, very masculine, almost going a little bit animalic. Suede on females smells buttery. It smells as though your skin has this buttery, smooth type of feeling. It's a feeling that it gives you, right? This one in particular, I've worn so many times. I've worn it to the gym, to work. I've worn it going out. I've worn it pretty much in every single location that you can imagine, and everyone always compliments me on this fragrance. It has a great sillage, so whenever I'm going into a room and then coming back out, people say, oh, who smells that nice, or who's in the room? That smells really lovely. And it is always this fragrance. I mean, how is there a better compliment than, you know, when you leave somewhere and people still smell this beautiful fragrance, beautiful aura in the room, and they're like, oh my God, who smells like that? It was me. It was me, and it was this fragrance. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have never tried this, I would highly recommend that you do. Fruity, leathery, buttery, and a real compliment magnet. So the next fragrance that I have is one that I've kind of briefly spoken about, but I haven't spoken about it that much. This one seems to get a lot of hype on socials, whether that's Instagram, TikTok. You know, I find it so funny whenever I see like really hyped fragrances on these platforms. They're never really what I expect. I've always kind of quite liked Bvlgari. I like a lot of their like Omnia collection. They have this beautiful like gem-like collection which has some incredible fragrances. I think they are very expensive though, considering sometimes what they are very, very pricey. So this one, you know, you could get for a good deal. I was actually bought this for Christmas by my boyfriend. I think he paid something like just under 200 for 100 ml, and I think he got an offer for it, so it's okay. So this one is called Baciami from Bvlgari, and there are different types within this range, so I'm just going to show you guys some pictures. They have like a floral version, sweeter versions. They're all really beautiful. This one in particular caught me because I am a huge fan of white florals, as you guys know. This one is a gardenia bomb, and if you guys know gardenia, it's a really particular type of white floral. It has a very buttery, smooth, almost like laundry-like type of scent to it, but it's very calming. I find gardenia to be calming, I find jasmine to be very sexy, and I find tuberose to just be quite hipster and unique. Those are like the main white florals. You also get like orange blossom and other things, but gardenia has always smelled quite mature, calming, underlyingly sexy. This, alongside the gardenia, you have a really big note of vanilla. The vanilla in here isn't a childish vanilla. To me, this is a very elegant, mature, leaning a little bit waxy type of vanilla, and that's what makes it a very unique fragrance. This is so simplistic. This is literally, to me, like gardenia bushes with a sexy, deep essence of vanilla. And sometimes simplistic is what you need in the fragrance, and people really note it whenever they smell it on me. I've had a lot of people compliment me throughout the winter when I was wearing this, saying, "Ooh, who smells like that? Lovely." And it's musky, but without it being overwhelmingly musky. The only thing that I will say is, because it is on the sweeter side, I wouldn't recommend to overspray this because I feel like it might overwhelm normal people in the room. But when you do spray it, it tends to get a lot of compliments. As I said, especially in the winter when you want something warm and cozy, this is a fantastic option. So this is Baciami from Bvlgari. Now, a cheapie which I didn't think that I would get as many compliments as I do from is one that I've talked about a lot so far, and I'll continue talking about it because I really think it should get the love that it properly deserves. So this one is called Madame Gres, and this particular fragrance was dedicated to like the lead fashion designer of this particular house. She is apparently noteworthy for being like an incredible woman, very unique, creative and artistic, but also equally elegant. So I feel as though they definitely dedicated this specific fragrance for her, and it was so inexpensive, guys. I think I paid literally maybe £15 for it, which on the grand scheme of things, considering this is 100ml, I was so shocked at how amazingly priced it was. My boyfriend absolutely loves it. A lot of guys tend to really like this fragrance. I've been complimented from a few people, including women as well. Like when I was at my last work, I kind of got like a few compliments on this one. But overall, this is a very classic, floral, almost chypre leaning type of fragrance. This is very similar to Coco Mademoiselle from Chanel. So if you guys like that fragrance with the burst of the citruses in the top, a lovely floral mid with a like slightly ambery patchouli type of vibe towards the end, this is a very classical fragrance. This is as if Coco Mademoiselle and Miss Dior had a baby, but as a cheaper, more wearable version. I find that the patchouli in here isn't overwhelming, and I really appreciate that. I tend to find patchouli can be a little bit hit and miss. Like in Coco Mademoiselle, even though that fragrance is beautiful, sometimes the patchouli on my skin can be a little bit abrasive, whereas this is just super easygoing, very light and easy to wear. You can wear this to the gym. That's where predominantly I wear this fragrance. And yeah, I've just gotten a lot of compliments from it. And considering it was only £15, I think that's amazing. And it just shows you don't have to spend a lot of money to, you know, to be able to smell good and get complimented at the same time. So that's Madame Gres from Gres. So the next fragrance that I have is actually super tiny, and considering how small it is and the fact that it's a travel size, I've gotten a lot of compliments from this fragrance. I was so shocked. The time that I was just wearing it, the amount of ladies that were complimenting me on this was just absolutely insane. So this is called Ready for Rosé from Veronique Gabai. Veronique Gabai is an interesting house to me. I find them super elegant, sometimes not overly unique, which is fine. But this one I found to be quite unique and very special. I am tempted to buy the full bottle, but they are a little bit on the pricey side considering they're only 85ml. But maybe I will invest in buying a bottle since I've had a lot of compliments from this. This fragrance is predominantly like a very heavy champagne-like rose, but with a lot of mineralistic aldehydic kind of vibe vibes to it. It has a big note of rhubarb in the beginning, which gives it like a bit of a tartness, fruitiness. I super enjoy it. And then in the mid, you have a big note of magnolia, lots of white florals, jasmine, you name it. And then obviously you also have the rose, but the rose in here isn't like a deep red Bulgarian rose to me. This is like a very centifolia light, going into peony, bright kind of rose, if that makes any sense, like pink, fluffy, beautiful. And then towards the end, you have a note of like well, I think it's ambroxan, but honestly, it kind of smells like more ambergris-like, you know, that mineralistic, almost as if you're going to the sea, but not salty type of vibe. That's kind of what you get in here. But overall, the way I can describe it, it's as if you've just like dropped centifolia rose petals in champagne, or like in a rhubarb gin. That's basically how I can describe this. Really refreshing, very unique, and if you guys have not tried it, I would really recommend that you give it a go. Even if you didn't want to buy the full bottle, you can just do what I did and just buy travel size, and that will last you. I mean, you can see how much I've worn of it, but it's lasted me a decent amount of time, and the time that I have worn it, I've had a lot of compliments, particularly from women. They always say, oh my god, what is that you're wearing? They always take pictures of it, so clearly something is going in the right direction there. So that's Ready for Rosé from Veronique Gabai. So the next fragrance that I have will definitely not be a shock to any of you. I absolutely adore this fragrance. This is probably, alongside Cuir Grenat from L'Artisan, this is one of my most worn fragrances this year. This is called La Bella Cibeles from Loewe. I've already done like a dedicated video for it. I know a lot of you love it, so need I say more? I mean, the amount of times that I've worn this, nearly on every occasion, somebody around me takes a picture of this fragrance. So clearly it's been doing the right thing. I'm just gonna spray a little bit. In fact, I don't even need to spray it. It smells so good that I can just smell it from the lid. This is a interesting fragrance because it's very classical. I mean, it's like a floral, fruity type of fragrance with some vanilla in the background. But I find that the quality and the type of vanilla that you get in here isn't your typical. To me, this is like iced citruses mixed with this butter in the mid, which is coming from the iris note. Iris can be very buttery and smooth. So you have that smoothness, that butteriness. You also have other florals in here. I think there's jasmine and rose, which gives it a very feminine aura to it. But then that's all grounded by this very angelic, icing sugar type of vanilla. It's not overwhelming, it's not as deep as like vanilla essence, but it gives like this angelic, dusty sweetness to the overall fragrance. It's absolutely stunning. It's both fresh and sexy and deep. I wore this to my girlfriend's wedding recently, which was absolutely incredible, guys. Oh my god, I was literally so proud of her. I was like, oh my god, my baby's getting married. But when I was wearing this fragrance, a few women actually asked me, and one of them took a picture of what I was wearing, and I was like, girl, go ahead, because I know how beautiful this fragrance is. And she even sprayed it all over herself. She couldn't get enough. And on her skin, wow, I even complimented her on my own fragrance. I said, wow, this really melts so well on your skin. You smell absolutely stunning. So clearly this is doing all of the right things. It is pricey, don't get me wrong. If you can get a discount of some sorts, please do. But wow, absolutely gorgeous. So that's La Bella Cibeles from Loewe. And lastly, just to round off the video, we're going to finish off with a bit more of a fresher type of vibe. This is from the House of Fragrance de Bois. Admittedly, I don't actually own a lot of Fragrance de Bois. I would like to own more fragrances. Like, for example, I love Siberian Rose, Milano, New York, which other ones? Honestly, all of them are really, really beautiful. I don't like Santal Complete. I think Udrin Intense is really beautiful, but for the price, I think to myself, is it really worth it? So there are a few fragrances that I'm umming and ahhing about, but this is probably my favorite out of their entire line. It was originally recommended by my beautiful friend Giselle, who is also on YouTube under GB Fragrances, so please check her out. She's my bestie when it comes to fragrances. So she really recommended me this fragrance years ago, and I absolutely love it. To me, this is a very mineralistic, ozonic, fresh, fruity type of fragrance. The fruity notes include notes like mandarin orange, bergamot, plum. I actually am kind of getting this plum dryness from the fragrance, which I think is really beautiful. It has a lot of florals in here as well. I'm not really particularly getting any dominant florals in here. To me, this is just like fresh white florals mixed with some, you know, maybe like a light rose of some sort. It's really very pretty, and it's all grounded by like this ozonic type of vibe. And honestly, I don't know where I'm getting that from. I don't know whether it's actually listed in the notes, but to me, you're getting like this ambergris, mineralistic type of vibe towards the base. It almost has like a bit of a salty essence towards the base. So this is great if you're maybe going to the beach, or if you just want to refresh yourself and you want to smell fruity, mineralistic, ozonic. Very beautiful fragrance and lasts quite a good time. I've had a lot of compliments from this saying, oh, somebody smells like really fresh in here. And, you know, it's a very easygoing fragrance. A lot of people really enjoy this. Even if you overspray it, I don't think it will harm anyone in your local vicinity, which is great. So if you've never tried it before, please give this a go. So that's Brume du Matin from Fragrance de Bois. Guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. I am going to be moving soon. I was a little bit tempted whether to actually film this or not, because it's all been going on. There's a lot of like personal life changes going on at the minute, so it's all a bit hectic, but I thought I needed to film this video for you guys today. And as I said, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I could do some sort of shopping vlog soon, whether that's in Manchester, London, I'm not entirely sure. Any suggestions, please let me know down below, because honestly, I don't want any of my equipment being stolen, or I don't want to put myself in that type of situation. I'm very discreet as it is, and I'm very street aware, but honestly, you never know with these things. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.